Major media companies like NBC, Politico, and New York Times have written countless articles about how Elon Musk's X is a hub of misinformation, but have been completely silent on the influencer encouraging women to put poo on their face as a form of skincare.
Watched by hundreds of thousands of impressionable women who will sign up for almost anything as long as it's labeled as skincare, including poo on face.
Maybe the New York Times thinks women deserve to have their faces covered in poo, but we at the BOYSCAST do not. Your silence is heard and smelled loudly, no pun intended.
Paris mayor recently quit X, calling it the global sewer. But when it comes to women turning their face into a sewer with their own poo, the Paris mayor doesn't want to get her hands dirty, no pun intended.
Just because Politico wants X to be a wasteland doesn't mean women's faces have to be a poo wasteland, no pun intended.
Maybe destroying X can be their first priority, but you think this would at least be number 2, no pun intended.
The media says they cared about stopping Cosby, but what about his kids, no pun intended?
They're worried about being second-class citizens on X when they should really be worried about being turd-class, pun intended.
The boys!
It's the BOYSCAST.
The lads!
It's the BOYSCAST.
The dudes!
Prepare yourself for BOYSCAST.
The bros!
It's the BOYSCAST.
The homies!
It's the BOYSCASt.
The dudes!
Experience the BOYSCAST.
The boys! Cast!
Whoa!
Jacked up.
Whoa! Whoa! Now, lots of stuff to get to. We got Trump, Elon, this fight with Rogan, women discovering that not wasting money is a life hack.
Oh, now you're talking.
Jada Pinkett Smith's up to some weird shit,
exactly.
exactly. But more importantly, right now, there's actually a pretty big mystery going on. Some monkeypox in Toronto. Health officials see sharp rise in cases, and the cases have been increasing since late June and July following major events and festivals in the city. Now, the Toronto Public
Caravana.
they have not been able to figure it out. They're not sure. They know that there was some festivals going on.
Sure.
And something happened.
Can't really pinpoint.
I made a list of some festivals. We can potentially get to the bottom of it ourselves.
Let's hear.
The Tim Hortons Festival. So it's possibly.
No, I don't think it's that one.
We don't know what happened. People get a couple of those Timbits. They start going wild.
Timbits,
Potentially
you go
monkeypox
wild.
start. Maybe a lot of sharing Timbits, a lot of sharing donuts.
I think there were a lot of cases of people in ERs with Timbits stuck up their ass.
That's what I'm saying. Those Timbits get in your ass.
Yeah.
And honestly, if
I mean,
someone
they
else
fit
had it in
so
their mouth first, so
perfectly.
we don't know. It could have potentially been that.
Yeah.
The Toronto Korean Festival? We don't know.
No.
This is the thing. You know, we want to leave all the options on the table.
Sure.
There was Pride, wasn't that? Taste of Italy Food Festival?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So potentially the
I mean,
Italians
all they're
have
doing
been
is eating sausages.
just eating sausages, and we know that can lead to some monkeypox.
No more investigation.
Also, salsa on St. Clair happened, so I don't know what was going on.
When those salsa dancers get going, you know?
I'm just saying the salsa
Or was
dancing
it
gets
the
going-
food salsa?
Well, that's actually a good question.
No, I think it's part
I think
of
it's
dancing.
salsa dancing, and I think they get close to each other.
Yeah.
So it's a mystery right now, and they're trying to get to the bottom of it. The health officials don't want to weigh in on which festival it could be that monkeypox is getting spread at.
It's funny too because they're like putting out a global monkeypox thing now as of today, saying like it's spreading globally or whatever. That was as of like
That's gonna be happening around August.
Well, dude, so I went and I made 2 years ago. I made like a monkeypox contact tracer sketch.
Yeah.
And then I went to go repost it, and I looked at the date. Today's August 14th, August 12th, 2022. Literally,
Well,
almost
we don't know.
to the day.
Well, again, every year after the salsa on St. Clair.
August is monkeypox season, I guess, going
that's
forward.
What do you expect if they're going to have the Tim Hortons Festival? Things are
hey.
going to go down.
Yeah, that's everybody knows.
I think that's what happens.
You think they should be given a monkeypox vaccine with every Timbit purchase, or a free Timbit? With
they
every
have to do
monkeypox?
something like
They
that.
have to pair them up somehow.
I mean, the Toronto Korean Festival is going to be doing stuff, and whatever you're up to, it's none of my business. But afterwards,
None of our business.
There are some repercussions. So I think we
Sure.
are going to have to give monkeypox vaccines at the Tim Hortons Festival, the Toronto Korean Festival, Taste of Italy, and the salsa on
And
St. Clair.
salsa on St. Clair is especially concerning festival.
Obviously, Pride's going to be fine. It's a family festival,
It's a family
so that's
festival.
not, you don't need to worry about that
There's
one.
not going to be no monkeypox.
Okay, some of my girls have been really writing songs for Danny.
Okay.
So there's this girl, and she tours around, and she's doing pretty good, and she writes fat songs,
Okay.
right? And
kind of like Weird Al.
it's a little Big Al.
Big Al. Big Weird Al.
This one's dedicated to Danny.
I love that call-in response. Eat anyway.
When I feel shame about eating, eat anyway. When I feel shame about my weight, what should I do? Throw the scale away. So that's dedicated to Danny Polshuk and all the Danny heads out there that are on the bigger side. Danny and his boys. Throw the scale away, take it, put the lighter on, throw it out the window, and then say bye.
We should go to that. Go to the concert and it's like, go on Ozempic. Just one guy yelling it.
Now, I personally support this. Some people on the internet have been saying that, there's always haters everywhere. So they'll be like,
of haters.
oh, this is going to be bad for the structural damage
She's not
for
even
the building.
fat, though.
Well, I know.
That's the
she had a
funniest
couple
part.
meat on her bones.
Yeah, but it's like, I was expecting her to be like 4 bills.
If
the audience is
a
4
little
bills,
bit doing
she looks
fat
like
face.
she looks like Adele.
She
looks like Adele now.
I guess it's it's a lot of times that like the most activist black guys are like very light skinned. I think it's one of those where. Exactly. She's sort of like a fat.
You think she gets off stage and just peels the prosthetic off? She goes, woo!
I think it's a bit of.
This thing is boiling. God damn it!
I think she's doing numbers at her shows.
Bro,
man.
it sounds like it. It sounds like she's.
And there's like I said, there's haters on the internet. Some people have said, "Oh, it's causing loud volumes in the neighborhood every time they tip all the vending machines over, so they can,
You think like
tear them down."
She has it because how like venues they'll do like for the artist they'll like custom drink kind of thing. Is it just like a double milkshake with a shot of vodka in it kind of thing?
Well, I've heard
Like
that they did bring
mass
blenders and they blended up fucking Big Macs.
Yeah,
and
would
then they were
you like
pouring
a
on the
mass
crowd.
gainer with vodka?
Well, it's sort of like how ICP sprays Faygo on the crowd.
Yeah.
They were just spraying straight up Big Mac sauce and the things, and they're right.
High fructose corn syrup, just.
They tipped over the food trucks outside. So there has been a little bit of ruckus in the neighborhood.
Okay, yeah.
But at the end of the day, this is a message that you want to give people. Throw the scale away. What should I do? That's it. Throw the scale away.
All right, everybody, put your hot dogs in the air.
Does everyone know these words?
Waving hot
I
dogs.
don't understand how. Do you think she told her before? Because it was like 3 call and answers in a row, and they know all the words.
Oh,
so this person.
that's probably the actual song, and that's she
This
probably
is
sings.
yeah, I guess so. I thought this was like a breakdown where she was just getting real with the audience, but you're right. This
Maybe
might
we
be the
missed the
course of her
part
big hit.
where she's like, well, when I say, you say throw.
That's what I thought, but it was a lot in a row. People are very on board with this woman, and I as well.
Anything to not go to a gym.
Oh, you know what? You want to talk about gyms?
That was called a little segue there, Ryan. That was not by accident.
I know, and I was just pretending to do it smoothly, but then Danny had to call it out because he loves himself so much.
All right.
This is the thing: you get in Danny's head with positivity, and he wants to be patted on the back,
Especially
for
the
every segue
body
he makes.
positivity. Throw the scale away.
You know what? Blink Fitness is going to be throwing their scales away because they're out of fucking business. So there you go. Blink Fitness.
That's what you do.
Blink Fitness.
Looks like scamming doesn't pay the bills.
Exactly. Unless you're in India scamming old people. But Blink Fitness is the biggest piece of shit scam artist company in the history of the world.
Yep.
They won't let you quit.
No.
It's a maze. They go, oh yeah, call here, then call there. Then you go in, they go, the guy's not here. The one quitting guy.
Then you got to go to meet a troll under a bridge and answer 5 skill testing questions.
You do have to. And then they go, they show you 2 people and they go, one of us is lying, one of us is telling the truth. And if you don't guess right, then it's 5. You have been sentenced to 5 more years of Blink Fitness membership. So their whole scam is it's impossible to quit.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like a monkey paw that you throw in the water and then it shows up in your house again.
Constantly,
that's your Blink Fitness. You go, I canceled this in person and I signed all the forms and then it just shows up on your credit card statement again magically.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, they want you to, and they are probably like, we're just incentivizing you to come back. You're like, I don't live here anymore.
I don't live here anymore. That's what I even told them. So these people are scumbinos.
Yep.
Rest in hell, Blink Fitness. I felt like I was being
Rest in
pranked
piss.
by this. Rest in piss.
Blink Fitness. The funny thing too is
You know what? I got a word for them. Fuck off.
the photo that they use for the article is from the location we went to in the East Village, and it shows all these people waiting in the cold, waiting to get in, and that's literally what they did to me. Is during COVID, they're like, you have to make an appointment to come to the gym because it was COVID, and then they go, so you would have to go on their app, book a time, so it'd be like 1 o'clock, book a time, and they're okay, and then it's fucking 30 degrees outside. You show up there, and they're like, oh, there's gonna be like an hour wait. So then you and just a bunch of retards are sitting outside, and people are in fucking masks on outdoors, freezing, while you're like, why did I make an appointment?
And their whole scam is they go, it's like a really good deal. It's like only $60 or $50. It's like the only
No, it's like $20.
It's only no, I think it's more like 30, 35.
But then they have
on the
their
location. But
yeah,
they're like,
yeah.
well, the catch is you can't go and you can't cancel.
Yes, you can never cancel. It's Hotel California.
And it's crowded in there too.
You can never leave.
It's definitely closing time and Hotel
It's
California.
the gym at Hotel California.
It's definitely the gym in Hotel California. Now, this poo face girl that we've mentioned obviously in our intro.
Yep.
Danny's been, obviously
I've been on the
talking about
I've been on the beat. I'm an early adopter.
Recently, Russian chess champion smeared poison on her childhood rival's board. So this is how it starts.
Sure.
It starts with people putting poo all over their face, and
Yeah.
next thing you know, they're smearing poison on their. And by the way, I don't even know how this girl thought she would get away with this. Like the crazy
Yeah,
story.
like she's like her fucking literally just pale face, like vomiting.
How bad do you want to win women's chess? Like, is there even that big a payday? No. She's Tanya Hardening this girl.
Basically, yeah.
And apparently the girl, she didn't even do it right. She didn't put enough poison on there. So the girl got really dizzy and went to the hospital, but she didn't die or anything.
That's kind of unlike women, because women are the best at poisoning.
They love
like if there was a World Series.
That's why they're poisoning their own faces with poo.
If there was a World Series of poisoning, like women would be taking top spot.
That's what I'm saying. She's good at poisoning, and then she was like, "Well, let me play chess, but my main passion is poisoning."
But she's not even that good at poisoning.
She's bad at
She's
poisoning.
about as good at poisoning as she is at chess. She's not even a top 100 poisoner.
I mean, we mention this every time, but it's always funny to me that there's girls' chess categories and guys' chess categories. Like, why would there be?
Unnecessary. The poo lady is pretty funny too, because I did a little not deep dive, but
Let's talk poo, lady.
Let's talk
You
poo.
have done it. You would have done a deep dive.
Well, I did a video about it, and then
There's not really much more to say about the chess girl.
anyways,
It's
yeah,
classic.
yeah. Classic, just classic poisoning your rifles. But the poo girl, she's from Brazil, and then she posted this video about how there was like Harvard came out with this study.
She's the period face girl. You know that, right?
Is she the period?
She's
girl?
the original girl that was putting the period blood on her
I think
face,
you're right. Yeah,
and then
yeah,
she
she is.
upgraded to poo because it wasn't gross enough for her.
And it's funny, her husband's like some big, because she's got like, tons of cosmetic surgery, and her husband is like a big like cosmetic surgeon or whatever. So there's like one video where she's like smearing poo on her face, and he's just in the background being like, kind of like.
She has a clothespin on her nose.
with her own shit. But the thing is, so she cites this Harvard article. The reason why she does it because a Harvard study, right? But the Harvard study, I don't know if there's like a lost in translation thing, but the Harvard study is basically saying that if you put your like when you're younger, similar to like freezing your eggs, you can freeze your poo when your gut microbiome is like in better shape.
So she's freezing her poo at specific dates.
No,
and then
she's not
keeping
freezing it. This is what the article said. The article says that you freeze your poo, and then in the future, when your like gut bacteria is off, and they do this for people who have certain diseases where you can basically have like a poo transplant, but you put it in your stomach, like probably you put it up your rectum. It doesn't say anything about smearing shit on your face for skincare. Like she totally missed that part where it's like it has nothing to do with that.
Getting a poo transplant is so fun.
Yeah, it's literally like that's what the Harvard study was like. Yeah, you can fix your stomach with a poo transplant.
He's probably walking funny coming out of there, man. The doctor's just shoving your own poo up your ass.
Yeah, he goes, normally we take the poo out. This is the first time we're putting it back in. But
You get your poo shoved up your. I do not want to do that procedure.
No.
I'd be like, well, okay, what are their other options?
can I take a pill? They're like, yes, but it's poo.
Is that blackface, by the way?
I don't know if they care about that much as in Brazil.
It would be hilarious though, getting canceled for blackface, and then you're like having to, everyone's talking. You're getting blasted by the media, and you're sitting there getting canceled with poo on your face. Sort of seems like insult
You're
to
like,
injury.
no, it's not blackface. It's poo. I wonder if she was trying to get ahead of a blackface scandal, right? Like she knew, like RFK Jr.
And then
style.
anytime she gets in trouble, she was like, you know that I'm poo-poo on my face.
It wasn't black. It's a skincare. It's not like there was a big thing about to drop in like Brazilian press. She goes, no, it's not.
Are you kidding me?
It's
It's
not
like,
I never did blackface.
you have all these.
Look at my skin.
Look at all these photos of you in blackface. Like everyone who knows me that I'm constantly, my face is covered in shit.
Yeah, it's just skin. Look how glowing I am.
Well, she keeps it in a container. I mean, can you imagine fucking dating
she
this girl
harvests
and you
those-
like go into your fucking freezer to get a meal and there's fucking all her poo jars? This is next level.
Yeah. So, and I guess she has to harvest her own poo.
What does harvest it mean?
Well, where do you get it from?
Well, you're saying harvest like she.
Harvest. Well, she's either fishing it out of the bowl,
You think she takes the log?
or she's pooing on a plate, and then I don't know. How would you collect your own feces?
It is a good question. How does she collect it? Does she fish it out? Does she go direct?
Does she go Brian Johnson style, and it's like she goes and finds like a 16-year-old, like very like virile woman, and goes, "Hey, can I get your poo?"
What can I do to get your?
Because she's
poo?
like probably in her mid-30s or older, so she's probably like, "But my poo is like not even good anymore."
It was making me laugh. The Brian Johnson guy that's always talking about his biological age.
Yeah.
It's like, it does. If you had a friend that was always talking about his biological age, it does seem like someone that's trying to get young pussy.
Yeah.
Like you can just picture that guy in court being like, you don't understand. There's an age and a biological age.
My biological age is 14.
What don't you get about the age and the biological age situation?
Yes, I am 54, but my biological age, therefore you must acquit.
Holding his ID with his biological age up. Yeah, but anyways, this is the wacky.
So don't put poo on your faces. Ladies who watch the show.
Ladies.
We implore you, just go use normal soap and skincare stuff.
You know what the grossest part is?
Or do put poo on
I've
your
been
face.
talking about, and we are the first to, tell simps that we have a bit of an epidemic and
Sure.
the boys have got to keep it together.
Yep.
Just like I was saying, there's that girl that has her skin falling off. It's like, as weird as that is, you know that there's 90 DMs being like, can I buy some skin?
Yes.
Like, no matter what you look like as a woman,
please.
there is always a man that will give you money to get naked on the internet.
Yep.
So it is... partially we take some credit that, you know what I mean? The girl that's poo, there's still a guy that will sleep with him. If there was a dude that was whole deal that's putting poo on his face, I don't think he's swimming in Tang as well.
No.
If you're swimming in the septic tanks, I don't think you're going to be
He's
swimming in that much
currently
Tang.
swimming in the East River right now, that guy, collecting poo
Yeah, exactly.
for
So,
his face care.
yeah, exactly. So I will say that there is always someone that will be engaging, so we take some
We just
credit.
have to hope the Kardashians don't get on this trend, because then all our girls are going to be like,
If the Kardashians start
you
poo
come home
facing,
and then every chick is just like, it's poo face.
they could start an epidemic of poo faces across the country.
No problem. Yeah, you're like, you're going to the guy with your girl. You're like, hey, I got to use the restroom. And she's like, hey, just do me a favor, don't flush.
Yeah, 100%.
I need to collect your leavings.
So keep an eye on those Kardashians. Ladies and gentlemen, keep an eye on those Kardashians. That's one thing you could do.
They might get the poo trend started.
I know that's sort of making me laugh, the idea of any girl in New York, if you want them to convince them to do something, you just have to convince them that the Republicans don't want them to do it.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you hear JD Vance is trying to take away your right to take the garbage out?
JD Vance is trying to take away your ability to pay for this meal.
Republicans are on record saying they don't want you to work 70 hours a week and support your guy.
Yeah. They're taking all your rights away.
It's a pretty...
They do not want you to tidy up the house.
Republicans have been going on record saying that they don't want you to be making dinner on time. That said specifically they don't want They don't want you to have it ready at a specific time every day.
Well, let's hope Republicans don't come out against the poo face.
If Republicans come out against poo face, the girls will be like, "That's my right to have a poo on my face."
It's my right.
Now, JD Vance, you think I scream your poo face? It'll be very quickly.
Everybody, I was going to say everyone at the Kamala Harris rallies in poo face, but that won't work.
No, that'd be tough.
That'd be a bridge too far. That would be a scandal.
I love when I see a good girl inspirational quote, because I saw one. I actually wrote it down. It said, if you kick people out of your life and they get mad about it, that's just further proof that you didn't want them. I've never seen a higher justification.
Nice cope.
No matter who it... If you tell your mom, if you just completely ignore your mom and she's like, hey, you've been ignoring me, and you go fuck off, and then your mom's like, what are you doing? You go, wait.
You just proved my point, Mom. You're toxic.
Why haven't you called your grandmother? Fuck my grandmother. And then your grandmother's like, what did I do to you? I don't like that you're not. Oh, you don't like it, huh? Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you. Thank you.
Patriarchy strikes again, Grandma.
Noted. Noted loud and clear.
Yeah, that's a good inspirational meme.
Isn't that a crazy one? It was just like, no matter what happens, if they just disappear, good.
Yeah.
And if they get mad, they're like, well, hey, we've been friends for 10 years. Why did you all of a sudden just stop responding to my text? You go,
Yeah.
well,
See?
like,
Yeah.
all right.
You can apply that to a lot of stuff. It's like your bank account's meant to be overdrawn all the time. When you try and take out money, they go, there's no money
Yeah.
left. You go, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be.
It's
I don't know what
supposed
you
to
know
be.
about that. So I feel like this is sort of your domain, and you know that this well, it has been a Danny episode, if I'm being completely honest.
Is it more poo content?
Poo on faces, fat girls singing songs about being fat.
Yes.
But the UK tweet jailing.
This is crazy.
Okay, so
This is fucking mental.
the UK authorities, this guy Keir Starmer,
Two-tier Keir. That's what they're calling him.
Keir Keir's all right.
Two-tier Keir.
Well, he's not a guy I'd want to have a Keir with. That's a beer, ladies and gentlemen.
He's a bit of a Keir.
What's that one? Queer? I just thought, I was hoping that's what you thought. I was hoping something else was coming. The UK authorities threaten extradition, jail to U.S. citizens for online posts stoking riots, and their whole thing is just like, just because you're in the UK doesn't mean I can't get you.
Right. Well, that's their whole
You're gonna
deal.
extradite
The
people to
Metropolitan Police, like literally the chief of police of London, basically came out and he's like, yeah, you know, if you retweet stuff.
And that means if you go to the UK, they jail you?
Well, here's the thing. So they were like, we'll extradite you, but essentially someone posted and they're like, well, they can't do that because the crime you commit has to be a crime in the country you live in as well. I don't think you can be extradited for a crime where it's not also a crime. Like your country won't send you away.
Yeah, your country's, but if you went there, they could.
But theoretically,
They can
like
get their
you could go
hands
to
on you.
customs and they're like, let's see your phone. And they're like, you
You're in
retweeted
jail.
these based memes and jail for you.
But like obviously this stuff's been creeping up more and more in the UK or whatever. But this guy is first of all, I just want to say that is another 55-year-old woman. It's funny, like even when the Trump jokes, the 55-year-old women are getting it right now. Remember the girl they got the bunch of 55-year-old women got fired for their job for reposting Trump memes. Now 55-year-old women are getting put in jail for their memes.
Yep.
Because 55-year-old Facebook women are the most susceptible of any woman
absolutely.
to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think, one guy.
They see themselves as infallible too.
Yeah, there is one guy who got popped for tweets.
There's a bunch of guys that have kind of been getting popped by tweets.
Yeah, but they're mostly
One main guy.
Facebook posts. Like just to give you an understanding of just like the differences in the platforms is like because you can't really be anonymous on Facebook. Right, where you can be anonymous on Twitter, where you can't really do that on
The head of the police is threatening expedition jail time for U.S. citizens for online posts. 55-year-old woman was arrested for publishing written material to stir up racial hatred. You know, I want to say the people like Keir Starmer and media people, two-tier Keir,
Yeah.
the absolute nerve of these people to go out and be like, they're stirring up racial hatred.
I mean, crazy, but also some of them, like this one guy.
It's just rich.
They also said too that they go, not only is participating in a riot will put you in jail. And here's the thing too, like these crimes were committed 2 weeks ago. Like they essentially set up a 24-hour court system so that they can fast track all these people through the courts.
Like it's the highest crime of all crimes.
Like they were like, this is such a problem that they're like, we need to expand. We have all these brought in all these extra lawyers and all this stuff so that like it's literally 24-hour around the clock prosecuting them. But like
24 hours around the clock. We opened up night jail for tweets.
Well, remember that show Night Court? It's like that. It's like Night Court. But they were like, not only is going and rioting a crime, but if you show up at a riot because you're like, I want to see what's going on, or say you're at a protest and you go, this is just a peaceful protest, which I don't know what the laws are in the UK around that, probably illegal now. But if you're there and you're just watching a riot, they go, that's illegal now too. So if you're just
they do like a trace on your eyeballs to see where if you're looking in the wrong direction.
You go, you were at a riot, and you go, well, it started as a protest. And
everyone knew when these protesters started, they were licking their lips, being like, "Oh, someone gonna get censored real bad,
real bad."
But
like this one guy got 18 months in jail yesterday because he called a bunch of police officers cunts.
'Cause-
in England. You're like, that's every other word. Like, dude, you go there,
Wow.
like, you go to fucking to London on a vacation, and like the guy at the passport control is like, so what are you doing here? And you're like, they just say that. It's like a normal word.
Of course, yeah.
And you're like, what? So you're not allowed to call police? What if they are being that though?
Well, it's always one of those things too. I've watched the like media coverage of this, and the media coverage is like slopping it up, like because it's one
slop,
of the. Well, there is some of the
please.
tweets that you post that your average person is just like, that's a lot. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for sure.
But it's like, well,
Like,
yes,
some people are,
obviously,
like,
if you take
burned
millions of
down the-
tweets, they're gonna pick the ones that like are that people, because they force people in a position where they go, do you defend this? And you go, it's irrelevant what that says.
Right.
You know what I mean? You go, do you defend this tweet? And you go, the tweet is irrelevant of whether the guy should go to jail. It's not a factor for me.
In America, sure.
I have a video of like one of the guys, I guess, in his administration or whatever, and the way that they think about it over there.
Mm-hmm.
So the defenders, because the press guys have been, I'm telling you, the way, like also they go, armchair thug is first to be convicted, and they after stirring up racial hate. So the way that they describe it is kind of like obviously good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Well, that's the thing is there was like the hotel that these migrants were staying at was like attacked or whatever, and then some of the people were getting popped because they were like, attack the hotel, light it on fire.
Well, it's always with these things. You're just like, well, obviously, it's not about the one tweet. It was about the next one and the next one. And
Sure.
the next, like,
Also, it's like these aren't even like, hey, this isn't like Tommy Robinson. It's like some guy who's like 12 Facebook friends saw this post.
I saw a bit of Tommy Robinson went on Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
And Jordan Peterson's wife was there in the interview.
Oh, really?
Yeah, never seen anything like that. Isn't that interesting? His wife was there.
It's usually how that goes.
His wife's kind of like based at one point. She goes, and women, we've got our own shit that she's got the Canadian accent too,
Yeah.
right? She's like, oh, women, we got our own shit that we got to sort of.
our own shit.
But it's interesting. I was like, oh, I didn't realize that his wife was sort of like.
She's getting in there.
Well, she's kind of the same business, right?
Yeah.
Also, I don't know whether it's making me laugh. Jordan Peterson doing crowd work at his rally.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh.
Well, we've been talking about how girls like crowd work because they're nosy.
Yeah.
Which is the funniest thing to me. But I don't know, for some reason it was like making me laugh. The idea of Jordan Peterson, like, what do you do for a living? Drug dealer.
How long have you been together? Oh, he doesn't know. In the doghouse tonight.
Yeah, because they have to do these huge rallies, right?
Yeah.
Okay, listen to the way that they talk about this. Hold on.
BBC is regulated. I think BBC is better for being regulated. I don't think we have enough regulation of the press. I think the press is worse for not being regulated. Social media is just another form of media, and for too long, people in that sort of internet world, this whole idea of freedom of the internet, they've thought that sort of somehow that this great technological change can go through without touching the sides of democracy. I think democracy needs to sort of reinsert itself.
So there's a lot of these kind of like they fancy themselves intellectuals almost.
Yeah, they have a
over
different
there.
idea of what democracy is, I suppose.
Well, but it's like their idea is obviously incorrect because you're like, yeah, you don't have democracy if people can't voice their opinions.
For sure. And they're like, there's one thing, you're not like this one guy
You're
who,
like, unless we get rid of one of the opinions that we don't like, democracy should be able to vote that they don't want to hear these opinions. And it was just like, well, you don't have it's a rigged vote if
Yeah.
you don't let one people's
Yeah,
side
you don't let
speak. What are you,
people speak.
mental?
Yeah, and there's one thing where you're like this one guy, the tweet he posted that he got, I believe, 30 months in jail for was he copy and pasted this woman. She's like the wife of a counselor, like city councilor in London.
Okay.
And she posted a tweet, and then he was like literally just copy and pasted it to be like, look, see, nothing will happen to me because for me posting this. But she'll get in trouble because there's like a 2-tier justice system, and then he got sentenced to 30 months in jail.
Gee, they're out of control.
He like assumed
over
he
there.
literally his tweets like nothing will happen to me. So see,
Yeah, and it was like obviously the people in kind of the what you would call the establishment, they are drooling right now. Like,
Oh, yeah.
ooh, a new tool. Like it's Christmas morning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just like they're giving the Oprah sentencing.
And not even
you
like-
get a sentence. You get a sentence.
not even like due process or anything. They just go, hey, Did you tweet this?
And it does feel more
Jail
like,
time.
you know, when Canada had the thing and you're like, well, you hear about one every 6 months, but it's not that bad. It feels like they're fucking doling them out pretty quick over
This
there.
is coming to Canada.
Well, obviously, Trudeau.
Trudeau's going to go, word? We could do that?
Oh, word?
Word? We could do that?
Trudeau definitely doesn't like them having a new toy that he can't play with to fucking
Oh, he's going to
censor
love that. He
people.
goes, yeah, let's fast track this shit.
Oh, Trudeau is going to be. I think he's going to be doing one of those things where he dresses up in the judge uniform because
the
he
powder.
like to dress up.
Oh, yeah, the powdered wig. Get that out of the costume bin. Honey, get my costume. I guess his wife's gone, but get my costume bin.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of American politicians too that fucking look at this and they'd be like, oh, "That'd be nice." You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Kind of a guy.
Dude, you don't even get a. It's
they
not
look
even
at
a
these
viral post though. That's the crazy thing. It's even if they were like, yeah, this got 10 million impressions, and so it's like we can.
No,
say,
you're like, well, you go, who saw it? You go, mainly, I think Doug from his work and
his mom,
his
sister, who he tells this stuff to. They all think the same thing.
his mom, his sister, and Doug. His daughter didn't like it.
Did Doug go to the riot? No, Doug stayed home. Football was on, so he just watched some football. And
but these people have a new tool and they're happy to use it. And it was like, it's funny because they're brain. It's like, I mean, you'd like to think that these fake intellectual types that like to do their media tours, like understand, like it's like almost feels like they've never even heard the other side of it, where it's like, yeah, obviously what people are arguing about is that what happens next is that it's used disproportionately for political reasons.
And just to silence people. Like if you heard this story out of China, you'd be like, yeah, that's par for the course. Yeah, some guy posted something on Weibo or some shit, and he's gotten 30 months in jail with no trial, like fast track trial.
They disappear, yeah.
They disappear, and you go, yeah, that's what I expect from a country.
See,
a
in
communist
China,
country like China.
In China, they just disappear. They're billionaires.
Yeah,
which is maybe
this
a
isn't
more
billionaires though.
But I'm saying
these guys are all like plumbers.
Well, this is not just billionaires. They're getting disappeared, my friend.
No.
Well, yeah, that's why when I did my Australia tour, that was the guy that runs all the China tours. And I'll tell you a little interesting thing.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy runs the comedy club in China, right?
Yeah.
So he doesn't do it anymore, but for years he did. So a big part of what they're dealing with is what they can say and what they cannot say. And like anything, it's one of those things where it's like there's big rules, but if it's like some big famous person from the West, they kind of all turn a blind eye, right? He can say what they want, right?
Yeah.
And I told you before that it was in a lot of these places, a lot of it's like, no, don't talk about drugs, don't talk about gay shit. But what the interesting part was, it's all the snitch culture, right? So what would essentially start with, China, you're not allowed to say anything. It wasn't like, this is what he describes, and he ran this place for years. He described it as, it's not so much like the government's just always there looking, but what he said it's more of is your neighbor's bar will be like, they think something's going on. They like rat you. They're on their competition.
It's literally like Soviet Russia.
No, but it's no. Well, yes, but they're doing it to like kill their competition.
Kill the competition.
It's like literally you run a bar and there's all these people at the bar next door to you, and you just be like, yeah, they're saying fucking gay shit in there. So you call up the government and you're like, you might want to check on what's going on. They shut their bar down, and then all of a sudden, like you got
is booming.
That's what he says goes on. So it's like. It's all that, and then he goes, it's a weird one because they're kind of like an expat club because they're in English.
Yeah.
So he basically said that there'd be times when people that were like Chinese came up and they kind of like were like suspicious, and they almost had to be like suspicious of like native Chinese people that wanted to go to this club.
Just
like all of a sudden
because they're interested.
One guy in a suit being like, I want ticket to the club. And you'd be like, how'd you hear about us? Like, you know what I mean? But if a bunch of like white people with like maps and sun lotion on come up, they're just like right this way. But if a Chinese guy in a suit's kind of like, I'd like one ticket to a comedy show. You're just kind of like, how'd you hear about us?
Who are your favorite comedians?
Yeah, who are your favorite comedians?
Russell Peters. Russell Peters and Russell Peters. Yeah, those are all three of them, huh? Someone gonna get hurt real bad.
Someone gonna get censored real bad, I'm telling you.
That's fucked up.
So, anyways, it's like a constant thing over there. But it is funny to me that in China they just get rid of their journalists. They just literally disappear them.
Well-
Where in America they have to bring him to an island, get him to have sex with an underage girl, then blackmail them
Have
into
a good
submission.
time.
They have to do all this stuff. They have to have islands. They have to have what do you call it? What's the Israeli CIA?
Mossad.
They have to have the Mossad
It's
involved.
a real party over there.
They got to do all this stuff, whereas China skips all that. They're just like,
they don't- well, I mean, if you're a Chinese journalist, you get your kind of points from the government.
as opposed to the American journalists, which are just
that's
fucking
good point.
running their
Good
mouth
point.
willy nilly.
Yeah, really just forming free thoughts on their
They're
own.
not, Colbert had
I know. That was
Did you see that?
amazing. Caitlin Collins from CNN, the anchor of CNN, who took I think Don Lemon's spot or whatever.
Okay.
And then she was, and he's like, yeah, CNN's really like, you guys objectively do the news, and then the crowd just starts laughing. Everyone starts, and she's like, was that supposed to be like a laugh point? He goes, no. Even his audience.
Obviously, CNN, you guys tell the truth objectively, and everyone bursts out laughing.
He goes, this is not good for CNN. He's like, no, we do though. Oh, sure.
So they did
Sure,
a poll.
commie.
Majority of Americans believe First Amendment goes too far in the rights it guarantees. So basically, it is one of those things where this is always one of those pendulums that people fight for these rights and then people beg to give them away, sort of thing.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, when you hear stuff you don't like, you go, yeah, there's too much of this nonsense of people saying things I don't like.
I know, it's just like, that's why it just needs to be like a culture where people are like, yes, there's stuff you don't want to hear, but like you have to understand that like the ramifications of like solving that is big.
Look, if you want somewhere where there's only stuff you like to hear, go on Threads. That is all of Threads.
Right.
Is everything you want to hear and nothing you don't.
But again, it's not about this guy's not like his ears are hurting. Like his problem is he's like, he doesn't want people saying this.
Yeah.
In his mind, he's like, these people online are the reason the riot happens or whatever, right?
They're the reason the riot happens, literally, yeah. Even though it's not true.
Even though it's potentially not true, but even more so than that, you're just like, well, yes, but like oftentimes when you bottle it up and turn all that stuff away, it's like, well, then you don't have a democracy. And sometimes in a democracy, people are going to have different opinions and people are going to protest.
And then
stuff
also,
that.
like again, I mean, you obviously said it, but you're like, okay, so what's the line here? Like, you now...
we know what the line is.
You're like, you just jailed the guy for calling police cunts. Like, okay.
And that's how far it's gone in what, like a couple of weeks?
2 weeks. At 2 weeks. We need some fucking V for Vendetta action coming back. A lot of those masks are the guy Fawkes masks.
Two-tier gear is going to be fucking on the chopping block soon.
It's gonna be fucking 4-tier kid.
What are you in for?
Facebook post that
I dropped
nobody saw.
Yeah, that's the best part. Well, that's Douglas Murray said that when he was on here. I don't think you were here.
I was
but
not.
basically he said, he was like, it's kind of probably the same thing as the jokes in Canada or whatever, but he was basically like, well, yeah, they're never going to do it to me because it's like they know that that would cause them too much problems.
Yeah.
It's like, so who they're going to do it to is like
nobody.
So it's even worse.
Right, yeah, it's even worse.
You're just like, because you're like, oh, we're going to, if you're even going to try that, it's like they want to do it like under the radar.
Yeah.
They're not going to do it to Pierce Morgan. Not that Pierce Morgan's getting that out of line,
there
but-
was a lot of like chatter of people in the UK saying that they need to go after Douglas Murray in the last couple of weeks because he wrote that like Strange Death of the West book.
Well, then if they do that, there's going to have to be like more of an audit on this whole thing. You know what I mean? Whereas they're kind of like, yeah, there's going to be a lot of clamoring, but then it's going to shake down and the fear will be there. And then we'll do this every now and then just to let people know, like, you know,
Yeah,
it's
we
the
can
guy
do
that
it.
shows up every now and then and beats up one guy
like
just to let
Canada
him
with
know
the
he's still the goat.
with the truckers, Canada, where they just like kind of go, yeah, we closed a couple of people's bank accounts. We don't want to do this.
We'd love to
We'd
stop.
love to not shut down your bank account, but we will and we can. Just know that's an option.
Now you mention it, my fucking finger's a little itchy again to press that.
Don't make me do it.
He's getting a little revved up anymore.
Don't make him do it.
That's true now. Because
Finger, I don't want to.
Yes, you do.
Hey, guys, listen, I understand you have a right to protest. This guy, however,
Yeah.
Peter Pointer over here, he's got a little bit of an itch.
Old Petey has got a mind of his own.
I would love for you guys to not be in jail. Me personally, I think everyone should be able to say whatever he wants. This guy, if he sees it a little differently,
Bring back public execution, Petey.
listen, I'm a moderate guy. I mean, obviously,
sure. It's a normal dude. Well, how does this work for like soccer riots and hooligans and stuff? So they do all sorts of crazy shit.
Well, the hooligans,
hooligans
hooligans have been in the chopping block for a while. I think a lot of them are like banned from games and stuff like that.
Yeah, they ban them.
But that's
and stuff,
that's the team banning them, I guess. I don't know if it's the city.
and I
Maybe
know
it is. I don't know.
Yeah, in the city, I know they're like all dry events and all this stuff. But yeah, still.
Fellas, the sun's out. It's summer. You've been out. You're active. Mando's whole body deodorant is your best friend this summer. Mando's clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours, folks. That is a lot of hours. That's many, many, many hours. Safe for the whole body, pits, package, feet, everywhere in between. Stops odor before it starts. And it's available in cologne quality scents, bourbon, leather, Mount Fuji, Pro Sport, Clover Woods. So maybe you're out here hiking. Maybe you're out here playing volleyball. Maybe you're just watching volleyball in the stands, but you're working up a sweat for some people.
Hot out there.
It does, and especially gets hot the way Danny watches.
Oh yeah.
Maybe you're maybe you're rollerblading around. Taking a golf game, whatever it is, Mando's got you covered. It is a whole body deodorant that is seriously safe to use anywhere on your body. We're talking pits, packages, grundle balls, belly buttons, butt cracks, stinky crevices, stomach folds, feet. We're like, you name it. This is created by a doctor, by the way, who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and treated as well. Mando whole body deodorant is powerful enough for even the toughest body odor, but gentle enough to use everywhere, allowing you to put Mando on the family jewels without any worry, because Mando is aluminum free, it's baking soda free, it's cruelty free, dye free. This is vegan. It's clinically proven to control odor better than a shower with soap alone. So 12 hours after you take a shower, the average man grundle, if you don't know what that is, it is
Just heard about it right now.
the area between
The grundle.
Exactly, the grundle. And a lot of people that's a big problem there for a lot of
the
people out
grundle
there.
is real area.
And so I'll tell you, the average man's odor was a 5 out of 10. So with Mando, the average grundle odor was a 0 out of 10.
Ooh.
So they're not messing around here. This is the real deal, folks. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. Comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and also free shipping. So if you're getting deodorant, which you obviously already are,
I hope so.
try this out, switch to it. It might change your life, and it's the way that you do it forever from now on. But luckily, we got a discount code to help you get hooked on our favorite smelling whole body deodorant that's on the market right now. New customers are going to get $5 off the starter pack with the BOYSCAST exclusive code that equates to 40% off your starter pack. So, this is not something that you're
serious discount.
Well, and on top of that, just to try this out, it's not like you have to break the bank and take a mortgage out. This is something that's worth trying. That equates to over 40% of your starter pack when you use the code BOYSCAST at shopmando.com. That is SHOPMANDO.com. And the promo code is BOYSCAST. Well, anyways, it's interesting to see how and like that place just deteriorates. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you start fucking locking people up for Facebook posts, like,
Well, but you look at like that 15 years ago compared to now. It's like they just make crazy policy and then.
and I don't know what their checks and balances are like. Like if someone can say, "Hey, this is not," they don't have a constitution, so they can't say it's not.
Their balance is taxing higher, and their check is checking you into the Crowbar Motel if you complain about it.
Crazy. Like, yeah, I mean, it's a bad precedent to set.
Yeah, it's interesting. And the media coverage is, I guess that's like at its core what we do is comment on like the media's reaction to things. But like, it has been funny to watch. I watched the Trump and Elon.
Slurpy Don. Can't stop slurping. Disgusting.
Everyone is saying that he's slurping a lot.
Well, it's because you know what it was? Everyone
I
was
didn't
saying,
notice, but I don't notice anything.
So I noticed it, but it's because...
Did you notice it before people said it?
Instantly, yeah. I tweeted, I go, Slurpy Don. But it's because
Okay.
he had his phone. I don't know if you saw the photo. He had his phone on his desk like
Okay.
this. And
Why would that make you slurp?
Because he's looking like this.
So you're saying when you're talking like this, you slurp more?
So the saliva is like coming. So you gotta like, because your saliva is
So
coming.
if you're, I don't think I slurp more.
If you talk for 3 hours, like if you're like this, like eventually like, your saliva is like going this way.
I don't notice things like that. Someone could be talking in a different accent. And
I don't
wouldn't
ever
notice.
talk this, but if you do, it'll. That's what I think it was, anyways. Because people are like, oh, it's like a weird compression thing or something.
Well, the media was slobbering all over themselves to say how bad it was. If you watch, because I saw it, and I guess
was normal.
I guess they
Everybody
did the Twitter thing, and then it wouldn't start.
Yeah,
and then
it
I went to the
crashed.
media, and it was just like 80 articles about how it's a disaster, and I didn't even. It was like
Hasn't even started. Yeah, it was like.
they had that in the queue, man.
Oh yeah, Elon said it was like a DDoS attack, basically denial.
They were supposed to start at like 7 p.m. and it probably started at 7:01. The journalist's pants already covered in cum.
I mean, they were trying to make it out that they're like, oh, this is like, this is gonna be 3 hours, so you're gonna get a real different side of Don. Exact same thing. Talked about all the exact same.
Buddy, I only watched probably like 40 minutes of it. It kind of reminded me of like if there's like a guy you like that's doing the podcast tour and you hear him on one podcast and you hear him on another.
Yep.
And then by the third one, you're like, oh, he has like a speech he
Yeah,
does.
he has his bits.
This to me, I was like, this was just him doing the greatest hits. He was doing his rally and podcast.
Yeah,
form.
yeah.
I've heard him say every single one of those things.
thing.
Yeah.
The only funny thing he said that was really good that I like laughed out loud was when he was talking about Biden. He's like, Kamala has a low IQ. He goes, maybe the low IQ president ever. I mean, Biden doesn't even have an IQ. At this point, he's like, he probably doesn't even have an IQ.
To be honest, it reminded me of when I was at your wedding. There were a few like older Jewish people, and I know there's just older people in general. I think it's a very like over 50, over 60 thing that you get, your brain just has grooves.
Yeah.
And then you just fumble around till you get back into a groove and then you say that stuff you've said a million times.
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
if, you know what I mean? If you're against Biden, you just like, you get back and you're like, oh, but the guys, like,
Yeah.
I honestly feel like a lot of people when they get to 50, 60 plus, they just, their brain works like they have a bunch of tracks in their head. If you think of your brain as like a bunch of different tracks, and they have 5 or 6 tracks, and they just try to put the needle on one of those.
Get on the.
They have
the
5 or
record.
6 records, and they just put the needle on one of those records. They're like, how Q107 in Toronto only plays like the same 14 songs,
yeah.
Magic Carpet Ride over and over again,
Right, yeah.
which is the 70s station. You basically, it's if you put it on, it's within 5 or 6, you're getting boom, 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 boom. But, so it's one of those things that I feel like anyone over 60, their brain has 7 or 8 records spinning, and they just move the needle between those 7 or 8 records. So I kind of felt like that a little when I was listening
he only
to it.
has like economy, border, World War III. So like everything just comes back. World War III goes, I had a great relationship with Putin. None of these things would have happened under me. Like, Kim Jong-un didn't like us. And then I started calling him Little Rocket Man. And then we were friends and all this stuff. And you're like, yeah, we've heard all these things.
Yeah, it wasn't good or bad. But I mean, I don't know if it was like, from my perspective, I guess like that's what politicians do is they're like, here are my things that I'm trying to get.
Here's my platform.
He's not going to have 80 hours of material. So I don't think it's that crazy, but it was just like from a listening perspective, you're just like, I'm not going to listen to this again,
it was 3 hours. Of
But it was... I was a little salty with Trump when he did this
Slurpy
because I
Don.
thought the Rogan thing was a emo move.
What was the Rogan thing?
Well, so basically he posted Rogan.
Oh, the Rogan, yeah, where he because Rogan said that he liked RFK Jr. And
Rogan was on a podcast saying he liked RFK Jr. and then someone clipped it saying he endorsed him, and then Trump posted, and this was the order of operations I've confirmed.
Yeah,
it's like Trump posted basically, hey, just for because it was going so viral. He was like, just for the record, I didn't actually endorse anyone because RFK posted.
Yeah,
He goes,
yeah.
I didn't actually endorse everyone. I just think that RFK is the best or whatever. But I also thought it was cool when Trump did. Trump didn't see that.
Yeah,
and then he
course.
posted. He was like. A big hit piece on Rogan, and then he like a big like he
little podcast man.
he did one of his tweets, and then he was like, "You're gonna get booed at the UFC," and it was like, I get, this is the thing. I guess some people like it, some people don't. This is how he hit. This is the same thing he did with Kim Jong Il. He tried to do the Kim Jong Il format to Rogan, where he's like, "I'll be really aggressive to you. You'll come back." I mean, that's what he did to Elon Musk. He was like, "This guy's the worst." He's like, he fights with people. He's almost like negs people, and then eventually he was like, and. It's not my favorite thing. It feels a little emo, but because I know people in like real life.
He called Gavin. He kind of was like I kind of missed it. I had to rewind, but he was talking about Gavin Newsom. He goes, Gavin Newsom.
Okay.
He calls Gavin Newscum.
Just said it wrong.
No. He calls him Gavin Newscum.
But do you think new scum?
New scum. But he's like he didn't really hold on. He just calls him Gavin Newscum. You just have news coming. Made a big disaster in California.
I guess he has a good point that Kamala Harris isn't fucking doing a 3-hour interview.
Yeah.
But the Rogan thing to me was just like, it was one of those things where that you can't do the same trick over and over again where you're just like, you're a fucking piece of shit. And then like eventually like you're just like, well, then we'll make up or whatever. 'Cause
Yeah.
you put pressure on them and they have to come make up
For
with you or
sure.
whatever.
And Rogan, I don't think is like that.
He's not like that. So it was a
Rogan's not bending the knee.
He's definitely not
Rogan's like,
that.
we'll find out who UFC people like more.
100%. It was just like, it was a gamble, but to me, it felt like a bit of an evil gamble. I'd actually talked to him a bit when he was at the party we were at last weekend. But it was hilarious from a media perspective, which you actually posted about this. But because Kamala Harris has been doing a thing where she just says she
She
steals
steals all this
policies.
stuff. Yeah, she goes, I invented not taxing tips.
Which is hilarious. She's
Yeah.
just like doing the Trump policies, and then the way that the media posts it, they go, Trump says he's going to take tax away on tips, which will cost the government millions,
$250 billion
billions of dollars. And then she goes, Kamala,
Fighting for the working class person. Like, all right.
yeah, and it was the same publication, the way that they're doing it.
Like 2 weeks apart.
Something, the amount that she has these people's nuts in a vice, or they put their own nuts in a vice.
They go, we don't want Trump to win, and we want Kamala to win, and we will lie.
The people
in
who
order
work
to
at
do
these
that.
media places show up at the Vice and they just fucking bend down on it. The mobsters are there like, crank it to 10. The mobsters are making
Platinum.
their life easy.
Like the fucking casino with the mobster's head in the vice.
Well, it's funny because she has a bunch of 20-year-olds doing like a TikTok campaign, basically. And it is funny because like that is the TikTok format of like you see someone else do something and it goes viral and you're like, fuck, we'll do that.
We'll just...
Do you see Alex Byron's thing?
With the chick who stole...
Her name's Only JS.
Only JS,
and basically, he
Just
posts
stole
like a probably minute-long joke, and then she just legitimately takes his... And she's got like 8 million followers or something, and she just goes to people's jokes, takes them, and just says them word for word, which has been popping up more and more. Like all these, like a lot of podcasters are saying like word-for-word stand-up.
I see a lot of sketches on like Instagram and TikTok where I'm like, I see literally 5 versions, and I have to go like, who actually came up with this?
Well, this is what happened now because you have a lot of people that, especially a lot of these like social media people that were like 20 years old and then whatever, they get famous and they're like, you're famous for being funny. And you're just like, well, I'm not professional at that.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you're just
yeah,
kind of like, you're like, I haven't been like making stuff forever. And then I got popular. You're like, it's like literally getting thrown in the NBA. So then these people are like, well, I guess you just steal stuff, right?
The worst part too is
So there's one word for word make people's jokes. And then, well, let me just say the her thing, because it's wild. This guy, so Alex Byron, he posts about it being like, this is crazy, right?
Yeah.
And then she goes, no, I took that from Reddit. I guess we both took it from the same Reddit post. And he's like, well, yeah, no, I didn't do that.
Yeah,
because
I
I'm
didn't
like,
do that. I'm an actual comedian.
But he's like,
steal from Reddit.
But he was like, well, what do you think you're like? It's funny to gaslight me, but he's like, yeah, but I'm me, so I know that I didn't do that. And then and she was kind of producing this, like in her mind, it was like kind of maybe a smart move where she was like, well, culpable deniability because she was
a fake Reddit.
Well, no, she was like, well, maybe someone transcribed your joke and put it on Reddit.
Right.
I guess that's better to be able to stealing people from Reddit, in her opinion. But like,
yeah, I'm like, you're still stealing something.
to take something verbatim for Reddit. But then she goes, well, I can even find the post. And then she went and you can make like a backdated post on Reddit.
Yeah.
And then he was able
And then she deleted, but she's like, it was deleted, but I have a
and then he was
screenshot.
able to like go and find that it was made by her and whatever. And it was just like, and then she's just going to move on with her life. I'm sure,
well, that's what I was going to say is, so whenever I see these like on Instagram where I'll see like 5 of the exact same sketch, like literally the exact same one, I always go look at the comments to be like, are people roasting this person for stealing? Never. Nobody's ever like, yo, you fucking stole this. Everybody's just like, brilliant.
Yeah. And a lot of them are, it's one thing if they're like, okay, I'm doing somewhat of the same idea. I mean,
no, these are legitimately
word for word
thefts.
I guess just like that's what I mean. It's because it's all from TikTok, and TikTok is like Chinese, which has no like intellectual property.
Yeah.
So I guess that's eventually.
I guess we're all just Chinese now.
It really does feel like we're
that's
all
what
Chinese.
it is. Fucking Instagram is just Canal Street now. Just literally just buying fake bags.
That's kind of what it is.
Nobody respects anything.
TikTok is America's just China now, as far as the internet goes, because there's no intellectual property stuff. So it has gone out of control.
Yeah, and it can't. It's crazy because you can't
And
enforce
they're
it.
all
but then-
operating in their own little silos, so it's like no one.
I
There's
guess
no
you can't
accountability.
like, copyright it anyway. But like I kept posting about the Australian breakdancer, and the Olympics kept copywriting me on Twitter.
Do you see the Australia breakdancer's new news on her, by the way?
No.
Well, the new news on the
Well, breakdancing's out of the 2028 Olympics.
I
so
don't get that.
Thanks.
I don't-
Canadian won gold though.
Nice. I don't. That would. I can see that Toronto.
Yeah, he was really good.
But I don't get why they were like, this girl sucked so bad, we're canceling the event.
I
Like,
think it was maybe not
It
like
doesn't make
sometimes I think they
sense.
schedule them for
apparently,
like
the Olympics lost a lot of money too.
yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know where does the money even come from.
Well, they said they lost $2 million, and they said that we may never financially recover from this.
I guess but it's like the country that loses the money, right? I don't like who is actually sitting there being like, man,
There's an Olympic committee, I think.
yeah, but like I'm curious.
Well, who's
like,
making the money off the Olympics merch? It's whatever that company is.
It's the IOC. It's just like the Olympic.
Okay, so
yeah, but like they don't.
what are you questioning?
Well, I'm just saying they're like, the one they don't pay. I don't know. Well, the government's kicking tons of money to do the Olympics. 'cause it's
I
supposed to be a
don't
showcase
know.
for the
They
country.
announced that they lost billions of dollars. I'm not an expert on it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't know. But anyways, I don't think they like. Sometimes they'll schedule an event. They'll be like, it's just this year, and we'll see if it's for the next one or whatever. I don't think they're like it's canceled because of.
Well, it doesn't even make sense if they cancel. Why don't they just like wait till like the Olympics is over, the dust to settle, and then like quietly cancel? Like,
Right.
It just seems like what's the point of making a big like public like a girl just a girl just won gold from Canada. She was obviously like actually good at breakdancing, and then they're like, just so you know, that's not even an event anymore. Like,
Right.
It just seems like rude to everyone else
Yeah,
just because
yeah,
this one
yeah,
girl
yeah.
was bad. You go, this girl's so bad, like your sport is not a sport anymore. I don't know. It just felt like it didn't make sense to me.
It is a weird sport because there's like DJs and there's like a hype man. And
Well, so synchronized swimming's
Yeah,
ridiculous
yeah,
too.
yeah, for sure. They
I mean, there's no, dude. There's a sport in the Olympics where you ski and shoot.
Yeah,
that was the old
yeah.
Jerry Seinfeld
Yeah,
joke.
yeah.
There's gonna be swimming and strangling a guy. It's like, but there's plenty of sport, like synchronized swimming. In
Yeah,
my
yeah.
opinion, is one of the dumbest things ever.
Yeah.
Breakdancing is just no dumber than that.
Yep. Yeah, that's true.
Breakdancing. My high school when I grew up was huge on the breakdance battles. So they legitimately probably once a week we'd have Freestyle Fridays where people would have rap battles in the cafeteria.
Yep.
And then they would have freestyle battles, and all the freestyle battles were the ones where they would have the boombox playing, and then it was the ones where you do the battle stuff. So the guy would like take the guy, pretend he was a robot, and then you'd take the guy's head, put it on the floor, and pretend to piss on it, stuff like that. And then every single Freestyle Friday broke out into a huge brawl. And then basically they eventually canceled it. I don't think there was one Freestyle Friday that didn't involve an enormous brawl afterwards.
Yeah.
So eventually they just stopped Freestyle Fridays. But the breakdance, it was all the same thing. It's the guy going in the guy's face, pretends to rip out the guy's heart, and then eat it. It was the
I do actually remember watching the show.
the
Freestyle
dumbest
Fridays.
shit.
Remember Freestyle Fridays on BET?
Well, I think ours was named after that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I assume so. It was a
Obviously, that's where it came from.
Poppin' show. Big Tigger.
I don't know what the breakdancing was called, but it was something. I just remember that taking off the head and then pissing on it and then taking off the heart and eating it.
Yeah, heart and eating it. 16-year-old just eating your heart in a cafeteria
14.
in Ajax.
And everyone going, oh! The competitions at our cafeteria were insane. So anyways, a lot of that
Yeah.
shit, but I would love if someone did that in the breakdance. They went up to the other competitor, pretend to take their head, and then do like a soccer keep up with their knees, and then spin it on their hand, and then back in. That would have been good if someone did,
They would have liked that in Paris.
some of the battle breakdancing.
Yeah.
Tim Walz, masculinity is terrifying to Republicans. This is an article that's come out in a lot of
Tim.
places. Now, how many Republicans do you think he puts on the camo hat and they go, oh!
Oh my God, not the camo. They really make a point of referencing that he wears a camo hat too. So
He loves wearing the camo
for all
hat.
all the hunters in America who are like kind of on the fence. They go, "This guy wears a camo hat. He's one of you.
Yeah, exactly.
Why would you vote for Trump when this guy wears a camo hat?
The guy has a fucking camo
You ever
hat
seen
on.
Trump in a camo hat?
Do you think the Duck Dynasty guys are just like, change our donation? This guy's gonna-"
Fuck Trump.
Or do you think they're also terrified? They're like, I'm a man, but that's a fucking real man.
That's a real camo hat right there.
Their campaign launch in Philly, Harris lauded Coach Walz, honored his veteran status, and beamed with pride that Walz was known as one of the Capitol Hill's best marksmen, winning a bipartisan sharpshooting contest year after year. So this is a man who's half man, half Bigfoot. He lives in the woods. This is a terrifying man, ladies and gentlemen.
Stolen Valor Tim.
People, yeah.
They're coming after him.
Well, know what I would think? If I was doing nicknames for him, personally, I was thinking, and no one's come up with this, well, maybe they have, but because one of the things was the COVID snitch line, let's call him Tattletale Tim. That, to me, that would be a good nickname.
That's a good one. Yeah, the problem is I think a lot of the Republicans...
Like, if he was wearing the camo stuff, they'd be like, yeah, you're Tattletale Tim.
Tattletale Tim, that is a good one.
Or Talltail Tim, because I guess...
Talltail Tim's also good because of the Stolen Valor stuff. I don't think the Republicans are trying to make the Stolen Valor thing like such a big thing. I'm like, I don't think like they're like go to a Harris or people who support Kamala Harris and be like, this guy is like lied about his rank in the military. They're like, we hate this country. Like, what are you talking about? I don't care. I hate America. What do you think? I give a shit that he lied about his
good?
Yeah, like good. I don't care. Like he dodged going to Iraq and retired earlier. Like good. I hate Iraq. I hate this country. I hate the wars. I don't give a shit that he lied about that. I would have done the same thing.
Legitimately. Yeah. Well, that's I guess they're trying to get the armies on board, but I would imagine the armies are already on board. The army guys are already on board.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's like a strong contingent.
But the army guys may have been switching when they saw him hunting in the forest. They'd be like, I didn't realize this guy's fucking one of us.
Yeah, like that. And I mean, he was like, he did serve in the military for 20.
I thought it was the National Guard.
Or whatever, National Guard for 24 years. But the thing is, he was
What does the National Guard do? Every once in a while, they come to a city to... He basically, because he's trying to... Yell at a protester?
Well, they do stuff on the state level, but then as far as, and I could be wrong about this, but they got deployed. Like, they spoke with people who were in his, like, whatever, group or division or whatever. And so he was like a he got promoted to Command Master Sergeant, which is like this whole program, and then they got essentially a warning letter saying you prepare to be deployed. Then he like I think maybe 2 months later retired, knowing that he was going to be deployed because they received this, and then they were like, here's your formal deployment notification after he retired. So he's trying to say, no, I retired and then we got the deployment. But you're like, no, you got the warning letter in advance, so you knew you were getting deployed. And then he's like, no, I just retired. I retired because I wanted to run for Congress. And you're like, no, you knew you were gonna have to go. And then also he's been lying because he keeps referring to himself, like people are like, so you were a Command Master Sergeant, and he's like, he wasn't a Command Master Sergeant. He was for like a couple months, but he never finished the program, so he can't call himself that. He's a Master Sergeant or whatever. Or whatever. So anyways,
he's really wearing the woodsy man's costume. That's for sure.
I mean, he's like, I'm a hunter and all this.
Well,
stuff.
He did a whole thing. He goes, I guarantee that JD Vance can't shoot pheasants like I can.
Losing the vegans, Tim.
Well, it is funny because they are running sort of a thing because they're basically doing their rallies for like kind of like city bisexuals.
Yeah,
and then he's going out there like playing to the cameras, like being like, and I can shoot pheasants. And everyone there is like, when's the guy from Migos going on?
Where's Quavo? We came here for Quavo.
Yeah, I heard that like some guy that was on a Jay-Z record was going to do a song or something tonight, and I got to listen to this guy tell me about how he's in Duck Dynasty, basically.
Yeah. You know what time Fat Joe's coming out on?
I heard Pete Davidson's coming to do a speech. Like, it's an interesting little thing that they're running, but they are basically trying to eat Trump's lunch with all this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the polling is just working. My actual theory, this is my conspiracy theory, is that it's going to seem like, because they flip the polls, and it's going to seem like Harris is going to win, and then Trump's going to steal it on election day, and then they're going to go fucking.
That's what you think? Would you bet on that?
The left's going to go crazy, like insane,
buddy. I'll tell you what.
If they think, because imagine
if that does happen, I honestly think we'll be in the podcast studio and it'll be like,
oh, can you bet on that, Ryan? Yeah, short Target.
What?
Short Target.
I don't get it.
Target the company. Short their stock. Targets will be falling all across America.
Legitimately, they will be here, and they'll be like, Trump has won the election.
Everybody's like, no, you told us again that a woman was a lock to be the next president. You've been saying it's a lock.
Buddy, if they have to get Dikembe Mutombo on their fucking back-to-back women,
Jimmy the Greek said it was a lock. Oh, dude, all these. This is gonna be even worse because that was an old white woman. This is a younger black woman who's gonna have this stolen from her on election day. Oh my God,
that's not going to be good for anybody.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
That'll be the absolute worst case scenario. I mean, like if they were saying that they weren't, Trump wasn't accepting the results of the election, and someone actually said when I posted this, because remember, like Trump wanted the Pence to not certify the election,
yes,
because the VP can do that.
Yeah,
the current VP is Kamala Harris. She's the
one that's
she could be the one to not certify. So she's like, I ain't doing it. No.
I'm not certifying him. He's a certified pedophile. She comes in and says that.
Quavo, hit
it. The only certification that's happening around here is Donald Trump being certified a certified pedophile. I definitely.
What if Trump?
New York's gonna be a fucking shit show.
If Trump wins and then he plays "They Not Like Us." Comes out at 3 a.m. They not like us. Jumps.
He comes out in the camo hat.
Yeah, the camo hat.
Well, anyways, they're really pushing that this guy's a real man.
Yeah, he is a real man.
Real man.
Real man.
You know what I was actually making me laugh too? Also, is there is. We've talked, obviously there's some truth to it, but you see a lot of guys that were kind of, I guess you'd call boomers, born in the 70s, and they're all like, men are way softer right now. When we were growing up, we were men, we fixed things. Sure. And then you see a picture of them in high school, long hair, belly top, bell bottoms, roller skating. Sure, yeah. That's a good point. You know what I mean? And they'll be just like smoking dope, and they'll be like, back in my day, men used to be men, and you're just like, you're wearing bell bottoms. Yeah, they wore belly tops with a collegiate photo on.
You went to Canada to avoid Vietnam. What are you talking about?
Listen to on the roller skates to Queen. Don't stop me now. Having a good time. Just real man shit.
Yeah, real man shit at a Kiss disco concert.
Yeah, exactly. Painting a lot of these guys have a bit of a revisionist history. They wear the belly tops with the number on it. Yeah. And it's like you look like a gay cheerleader for the team.
Yeah.
How many people's dads right now that are just like watching Tucker being like these fucking kids and you're just like, yeah, here's you in a belly top. Like
mesh midriff showing.
What on the world is zestier than roller skating? Like at least our generation did say like, yeah, rollerblading, no thank you.
Yeah, at least we put them in line to make it a little more dangerous.
We put
little wheels.
Yeah, we put them in line to make it a little less. No wheel on wheel action.
Yeah, no brake at the front. Are you kidding me?
Brake at the front is zesty.
Very zesty braking at the front.
Breaking it, you're right. Breaking at the front in a belly top. Yeah.
Back in my day.
Yeah, you know what happens when you break at the front? A little bit of bending over. Yeah. That's why we put it at the back. Bending over in this
cornhole opens just an eighth of an inch.
Yeah, exactly. When you're bending over backwards to stop on your rollerblades, that's what happens. You close yourself up.
Yeah, the sphincter tightens.
Whereas they're bent over, just fucking prime target for another bell-bottomed man with a leather jacket with his fucking full chest hanging out.
Yeah.
Listening to Queen in that other band. There was a metal band that we now know the lead singer was gay when it's obvious looking back that he was gay. No, not Iron Maiden. You know the one, though, Johnny Glover.
Which one was?
He'll find it.
Well, Iron Maiden, was that Rob Halford? Because he was gay. I don't know.
Well, maybe it was Rob Halford, but
I'm not big Matt.
Judas Priest.
Sorry, I'm sure people are like yelling at us right now, but
I mean, it didn't take that long to figure it out.
Well, just for even saying the wrong thing, they're like, "How could you not know? You're not a metalhead."
Well, anyways,
yeah,
they're doing the YMCA at the roller skating rink, literally. Mm-hmm. Actually, that might have been our generation.
Yeah,
we weren't roller skating though.
I do remember.
I don't think I ever did the YMCA. Maybe I did, but I probably more likely did the Macarena.
I've done them both.
Macarena, I for sure did.
Yeah, I remember a good roller skate.
It was kind of interesting. Our buddy sent us this thing. One of our fancy rich tech friends.
Yeah.
He sent us Bill Clinton's policy in, I think it was 1992. Was it?
Yeah.
And he
Make
goes,
America great again.
so this was Bill Clinton's policy of, what do you call it?
Platform.
Platform.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, platform shoes. That's another one they used to
Yeah,
wear.
with the fish in them.
Platform
You fucking
shoes.
freaks.
Platform shoes with
With,
fish
with
in
the
them.
goldfish in them, you fucking animal abusing freaks.
Yeah, exactly. So anyways, he sent us Bill Clinton's platform at the time, and it reads exactly like a mega platform.
Yeah.
I'll just read a few of them because it's kind of wild. We call for restoring basic American values that built this country and always make it great: personal responsibility, individual liberty, tolerance, faith, family, hard work. Our party's first priority is opportunity, broad-based, non-inflationary economic growth, and the opportunity that flows from it. No interest in the current president with no interest in domestic policy has given America the slowest economic growth. So they're saying no globalization, basically. We reject the do nothing government of the last 12 years and the big government theory that says we can hamstring business and tax and spend our way to prosperity. We believe in free enterprise and the power of market forces. Goes on and on and on.
No men and women sports.
Government don't raise children. People do.
Yeah.
To empower America's communities, we pledge to restore government as the upholder of basic law and order.
Basically,
and crime
Republicans right now are just 90s Democrats, or
Yeah.
not even, like mid-2000s Democrats.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, obviously, there's always a bit of like, this is what their platform is. This is what they actually do.
did,
So I
yeah.
don't, I wasn't. Maybe I don't remember that time period enough because I was, 6.
Yeah. Yeah.
Enough to, remember the period exactly. But on paper, what their proposals were exactly what your average Republican would be right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Isn't that interesting?
Well, it's just like I guess it just goes to show you that how much further, like, I guess everybody moved left.
Yeah.
Just that everybody moved left and the left moved extra left.
I have another theory that was maybe has been said before, but kind of because there's obviously like the big social conversations. Then really, I probably in reality am more concerned about the economic conversations, even though
Sure.
they're less fun to talk about.
Yeah.
But like if I was actually to say about like things that I thought like what would help the country or whatever, obviously. But it kind of is, if you look at it, so many of like America or the West's problems probably do stem a bit from the fact that people can't buy houses. Like,
For sure.
If you think about it, like even when you're talking about like people having like a vested interest in the country, it's like, well, yeah, that happens a lot. Like people, there's no non-binary people with a lawn.
No.
If you know what I mean. You know what I mean?
No. Well, maybe a couple, but
Like
yeah,
very
no.
few people.
Well, it's a city thing. Being non-binary is just by nature.
Yeah, but it's also it's not a
metropolitan
homeowner
lifestyle.
thing. I think a lot of people that, kind of want to tear it down, maybe. It's like, well, yeah,
Yeah.
people don't want to tear it down when they own property.
I
right?
think
So it's like they have an invested interest
Yeah.
by buying a home. So it's like it becomes BlackRock's country, which, leaves these people to go in insane ways or whatever.
Yeah, I think
That's
if
a
you're
part of it,
I
for
think if
sure.
you're non-binary and you buy a house, like if you're a non-binary chick, you buy a house in 2 years, you're just a lesbian in overalls.
Well, sure. Yes.
Working on the house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
You regress.
Well, you're not exploring your gender identity. You're
Nah.
exploring Home Depot's
Yeah. Well, non-binary is more of like a commune type deal.
Home Depot's manure section.
Yeah. No, that's true. I mean, yeah, the home ownership is obviously a difficult.
There's not very many Disney adults that own a home, if that's fair to say.
No, unless but I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna fix it. But.
I got one more.
Yeah, go ahead.
They don't need a safe space. They have a safe space. It's called their pantry. It's where they keep the ho-hos.
See, any city people know you don't even have a pantry.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that's probably...
Who has the space for a pantry?
No one's in the closet when they have a pantry.
Like a lot of people watching this, they live in like just normal cities, and they're like, "Yeah, I have a walk-in pantry."
No one's in the closet when they have a walk-in closet. No.
Yeah.
I guess there's gay people probably.
Sure.
But as far as like, millennials and Gen Z that are on some wild shit, they probably, if they were able to like buy a home easier, they'd probably be on some, that would be just a phase in their life that they were in. Like the bell, like they used to be in the bell,
bottoms.
like the guys used to have the fishes, and now that guy is, worrying about, setting up his horseshoe course in the backyard.
There's gonna be some dad in 2060. He's like, kids these days, it's like you used to be non-binary. You didn't believe in gender.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you were a woman for 9 years.
Yeah, for 9 years.
You lived life as a woman for 9 years.
I guess the 80s people had the androgynous thing, which is kind of similar.
Yeah, 80s got a little fruity.
The Bowie, like, androgynous stuff.
But rock and roll.
But they weren't saying, but they were never saying they were chicks. They're like, I'm just a weird guy.
Yeah. No, there was the big comedian that said he was like, but he said he was a cross-dresser.
Eddie Izzard.
Yeah,
he was a cross-dresser because I think it was hard to be come out as just trans, because now he's like, I'm trans. But forever he's like, no, I'm just a cross-dresser, and then he just started performing as a cross. Like,
if you're like the transsexual comedian or whatever, and trans becomes popular, it's obviously a no-brainer that you're going to take that one final step.
Yeah, for sure. But now he's saying he is trans. He's like, I was always trans. It was just hard to... I think that's kind of...
I'm sure he would say that, yeah. But anyways, I do think that, there would... If the fact that, like, BlackRock owns every property, and, increasingly so, probably, if you're going to have a place with, like, what you would call individual liberty and, individualism, it's like, well, for people to care, they need to, like, own a bit of that property.
Yeah, it is interesting. Neither party's platform involves getting, like, affordable housing for people. Like nobody's platform has like, here's how we're going to make it able for you to buy a home.
Yeah, you're saying it's just not really like talked about, period.
But it seems like it's a pretty big issue. Like,
I think they just accepted that none of you guys don't own homes. That's what happens.
You'll own nothing and you'll be happy.
You're getting bugs.
Yeah, just bugs. And yeah, it is weird though, because you think that would be like a big point where like people would be pretty receptive to that, saying like, hey, how can I one day own a home? And neither party's like not touching that.
Not with a 10-foot pole.
I think I saw something about they were looking at changing like the mortgage structure here, where they're gonna like extend the mortgages or something like amortize them over a longer period so that it's
smaller payments.
But you pay way more interest. But I guess it is a way to make it more.
Well, there's a mental thing I think people have of owning a home,
Well, I mean, you need to put a down payment on it. Some people are like, I'm never going to have $100,000 sitting around to buy a house.
Right, but they could have $15,000
or whatever. But I mean,
$20,000.
To get the down payment even is a big obstacle for a lot of people. So,
okay, I have to bring this up because Jada Pinkett Smith. And
what's she doing?
You know me have a love-hate relationship with Will Smith. Me hate Will, me love Will.
Yeah.
Because I do. It's. I
mean, he's a battered man.
I kind of feel like, how Trump does the thing where I was saying he tells people he hates them, but then he becomes friends with them.
Yeah.
Maybe I have that a bit with Will Smith, where it's like just it's some tough love.
Yeah.
I heard I saw a clip with Sandler. He went on Rogan, and Sandler was talking about Will Smith, and it was bumming him out.
It is so funny though that because I listened to probably the first hour of it, and no matter who's on any podcast, once they just start talking about comedy, I'm like, this is boring.
Yeah, a little bit.
He goes, remember that spot? He goes, oh, that was great. So remember this guy?
I think it's cool that it's Sandler,
it is cool.
Though.
Yeah,
he doesn't do a ton of interviews, so I think it's like whatever Sandler wants to talk about, you're fine to maybe listen to it, but I haven't yet, but I just saw the clip.
Yeah.
But the Sandman's the fucking goat.
Yeah,
but,
I love the Sandman.
So Jada Pinkett Smith has reportedly issued an ultimatum to Will Smith to start acting like a real man. Now, Will Smith's friendship with Johnny Depp is reportedly causing friction at home with his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith.
Oh, because he was having like a big orgy on a yacht with Johnny Depp.
Will Smith,
I'd imagine would be the problem.
And by the way,
is that the problem?
Yes.
Was it an orgy though, or was it just two boys hanging out?
I would imagine he's probably getting it in.
Oh, you think so? I figured it was. I thought it was just straight up just boys hanging out.
Will Smith has his new pal Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Will Smith is on. He's acting like a Miami man again. He's going back to his roots.
Yeah.
He's
Big
a Miami
style.
rich guy. At 55 years old, with a couple of young 22-year-olds on the boat. Mm-hmm. Him and Johnny Depp. Yeah. Johnny Depp's fucking teeth are falling out.
Yeah. Johnny Depp's not doing great.
Johnny Depp's teeth are falling out. The girl's. He's got so many bracelets he can barely lift his arm up now. But
yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine.
That's what he's doing. He's going back. They have money, and he's like a rich guy with girls on the yacht. Now, I understand that you might say, I don't want my husband being a fucking rich guy on a yacht. You did a press tour about the guys that you've been fucking with behind the back. Made the guy a national. You fucked the guy's brain so much he's fighting people at the Oscars. This guy, his brain got messed up. You see the way he's laughing now. He's a shell of a man. He goes, ha ha ha.
See, I read this. I didn't even see it.
And she says,
as chicks on the boat. I just was like, just two boys hanging. Like, I think he's like, hey, I just want to go play a round of golf with Martin Lawrence. She's writing some big think piece about it, being like, oh, he wants to get away from me. Like, I just want to go play fucking golf with my buddy.
I can understand why you could see it that way, but that's not what's happening.
Okay.
She says it's going all these parties and
okay.
blah, blah, blah. Like, Johnny Depp has a party boy lifestyle, and Will Smith and him have started a new, friendship where they're party friends, essentially.
Okay.
And the thing is, she's saying like, this guy's a married man out here gallivanting around with Johnny Depp, and it was like, oh, he's embarrassing you. Am I taking crazy pills here?
You are. Again, you're talking about a man who is emotionally abused by his wife. He's a battered
1,000%.
He is a battered man. So then when he goes and does the same thing she does.
And not even as bad.
Not even nearly as bad.
He's not writing an article about, like, why I needed to fuck all these chicks for my marriage. Like, he's not going on the whatever podcast and talking about all his kills.
He's playing fucking canasta in the galley with Johnny Depp. It's probably just the two of them and a couple fucking deckhands.
Johnny Depp showing him his new, like...
his putt. They're putting into a fucking cup.
They're putting into a cup in the back room.
Yeah, in the back room.
And all these girls are just helping themselves to their liquor cabinet.
Yeah, exactly. They're just... being like, hey, these guys aren't as cool as we thought.
These girls are texting their actual boyfriends.
They're like, how is it? Goes, it's all right. They're putting into a cup again.
Johnny Depp showing her his orthopedic pillow he just bought. But it is probably, Johnny Depp's probably a little bit being like, do you guys want to pour some champagne on yourselves? Gets a bottle of camp.
I can't open it. I have arthritis, but bit of a claw situation. But
he pops a thing. He just wasn't able to shake it hard enough, so it sort of drills out. He just dumps a bottle of champagne on her head.
He pours it into a pitcher. He goes, one moment, please. Not what I used to be.
Johnny Depp's walking around the boat telling girls to put their coaster down.
That's a mahogany table. That'll leave a ring.
He's an old man, right?
He's getting up there.
Yeah, Johnny Depp's definitely walking around with coasters being like, I just
new table.
Yeah, he's showing Will Smith that he has a new pinball machine in the back, stuff like that. But anyways, it's like, yeah, you went on a press tour talking about how you banged your son's friend.
Yeah.
Whatever this guy does.
I bet she's like, she probably even holds the Chris Rock thing against him. She probably, like, when they're getting into it.
I can't believe you did that. Yeah, you're such an angry man.
Yeah, you see your anger's coming out just like when you slap Chris Rock. He goes, I did that for you.
I know.
You embarrassed us then, you're embarrassing us now.
Good for him. Good for Will, being a rich guy on a boat.
Damn, he just can't get away from her.
Jada has been totally there for him, so she's furious. He's flaunting his hangouts with Johnny Depp and totally acting single. Been there for him, she says.
Mm-hmm.
Been there for him.
I guess part of their arrangement is not hanging out on a boat with Johnny Depp.
Well, I think the arrangement went down the fucking tube, but I think the slap reset everything for them.
Year zero.
He probably had a little bit where she was doing her press tour where he was like, I have free reign now, and then the slap sort of reset everything where he was like, yeah, but you did that. He was like, do I have to point to the sign? Remember the slap?
Yeah, remember the slap?
Despite Jada's frustrations, it seems Will is fully embracing his friendship with Depp. The Pirates of the Caribbean actor has been taking Will on wild boys nights, introducing him to new friends, involving him in his band's activities. So Will Smith is playing the fucking cowbell in the band.
Band activities.
Band. You don't want to hear band activities. Will Smith's joining a band.
Oh.
Man, Jada, I'm practicing with my band. And he's playing tambourine.
She's like, you won a Grammy.
I love the fact that Will Smith is going on tour with Johnny Depp's band. That guy's having a midlife crisis, and I have no problem with that.
Fine.
Yeah, exactly. But I saved the sentence for last. That really made me friggin'
boil
I'll tell you, man.
Blood pressure's rising.
It almost made me walk over to the news.com and I'm just show up at the front door and I go, I will demand a retraction because they said he's making her look like a total fool. The nerve of these people, I tell you.
The fucking nerve. And probably her PR person fed them this story.
You're forgetting on top of this.
Like this story exists. How does this get out? It's because her PR person's like, hey, put this out there that he's hanging out with Johnny Depp and embarrassing me. It wasn't even an organic story.
Jada Pinkett.
Fucking the machine is
Jada
working.
Pinkett, bitch, man. Yeah, definitely that's her. She's 1,000% feeding this to TMZ. Like, Will Smith's acting like he joined a band.
Dude, she's probably on the fucking other boat with like a telescopic camera. Just with a fucking disguise with her bald ass head being like sending them in.
Will Smith switches into this boat shoes and he's going to take the orthotics out of the... He's going to switch the orthotics into the other shoes.
Got bad bunions.
Despite her frustrations, it seems Will is truly embracing the friendship. Anyways, this
big story is man has friend, wife upset.
Exactly.
Newsflash.
And obviously he's a boat guy. He's the Pirates of the Caribbean. Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go. This is the best article. Underconsumption core is going viral on TikTok. Here's why Gen Z can't get enough. And
I'm very in favor of this trend.
Well, I'll just say this thing. Underconsumption core is the new viral trend on TikTok that encourages consumers to be a little less spend happy and more conscientious about what they bring into their homes. So they've decided that not spending, thousands of dollars always and end up broke.
Yeah.
But the fact that women, like I was saying with my Republican thing, if you want women to do something, you need to have a viral trend.
Yes.
Which is, there's no consistent law more than that.
No, China's trying to destroy this country though, huh? They're just be like, how do we make their GDP go down? It's like, have the younger women stop consuming.
Women have like a brainwave where they're like, maybe I don't need to spend $8,000 on a purse.
Yeah, you know what the devastation to the economy if every woman in concert decides to just cut their spending in half?
This is Coach doesn't
Fucking
like this
bread
trend.
lines.
I definitely could see guys behind this being like, oh, the don't spend $20 on Starbucks trend.
Right.
Come on.
I like that trend. Don't buy a drink every time you leave the fucking house.
Ladies, we're going to start a only buying beers and not expensive margaritas trend. Oh, here we go. Ladies, I have this new thing where we want to do, and every girl's doing it, so you got to get on board.
Every girl's doing it, yeah.
Choosing what you want to eat within 20 seconds
Whoa,
trend.
here I raise you one further. Check the menu before you even get there and know what you want.
The knowing what you want trend.
Know what you want before you arrive.
The decisiveness trend is going viral.
I like the decisiveness trend.
Decisiveness trend.
Yes.
I mean, this is...
Or just order what you're actually going to eat.
Or stick with your own meal trend.
Don't touch my fucking fries trend.
Oh, let's get you on TikTok for the don't touch eating your own meal trend.
You said you didn't want any of this trend, and now you're eating it.
It's so funny that they're realizing they're not going to waste all their money on like $5,000 bags, and they need a trend to do it. You have to, but you have to get the girls to be like, they love community, right? So you have to be like, everyone's doing it. Yeah, look at us, we're not spending. Woo!
Of course, and they're a bunch of sheep. So
I mean, it's girls. A trend to a girl is the equivalent of chanting their name to a guy.
yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, like an arena chanting your name.
It's the equivalent. I bet you can't chug this beer, and you're like, I don't want to chug a beer. Danny, Dan.
The people have spoken.
Or you count down 10.
Here you go. What's going on?
So I think that's the equivalent. If you give a girl a trend of something, you're like, everyone's doing this, then they're like, oh my, maybe I don't need a mocha frappa bappa.
Yeah.
A cappuccino, alpacino, frappuccino. A legendary joke of all time. Cappuccino, frappuccino, alpacino. Keep it up, I'll be broke-a-chino. That's why they got the trend.
Well, I second this trend.
Of course, how do you not?
Yeah.
What I choose to spend my hard-earned money on matters, and I try to be smarter about it every day. And that's what this trend is about for me. So there's also another component of this where it's all of a sudden not dad when it's not dad's money or rich boyfriend's money. All of a sudden, there's a bit of a frugalness trend.
Yeah, tight, little belt tightening.
Cossack, a millennial, remembers a version of underconsumption core that was simply called minimalism. So you definitely need to rebrand things because they get bored of the old one.
Yeah. Minimalism is just out of favor.
Girls never really liked minimalism. It never caught on with women.
No.
Underconsumption core is definitely hitting them a little harder than minimalism.
You got to add core to it because it gives that kind of millennial.
Minimalism
Gen
always
Z
seemed
flavor.
like serial killery to girls. You go to a guy's house and there's nothing there. You know what I mean?
Literally my house.
Well, for sure it was your house.
That used to be my house.
My house had a bit of that, but I had a piano and A bit of electric drums.
I didn't have
and some shit
nothing,
like that.
but I just didn't have any sort of ornaments and whatnot.
I could see you definitely having that. Yeah. You just had an empty house with one
couch.
cabinet full of baseball cards.
Yeah, just a couch, 2 plates. Goes, is this minimalism? I go, I think so.
I guess so.
I think that's what I'm doing.
Yes, I'm doing minimalism.
You have more than one fork? I'm a minimalist.
There's definitely,
We share the fork.
We have one fork. Yeah, we put it in the middle, whoever's using it at
Yeah.
the time. But they go, but the reason for this, in their opinion, is because of inflation. So they basically said that, and the economy's bad, inflation, so we want to do this underconsumption core trend. So wait till girls find out that you can still not waste money on stupid shit even after inflation's over. That's what's really going to blow their mind.
That'll blow their mind. Yeah, once prices come down.
Once prices come down, you don't have to stop the underconsumption
No.
core. But that's what you guys have to be. There needs to be like a union of men that are in a room always thinking of like a new version of a trend to get
trick
girls
women, yeah.
to
He goes,
trick women. to
Hot new
spend
trend.
less.
We need a new couch, and we're going to buy it on Facebook Marketplace or pick it up off the curb. It's a hot new trend. I don't know.
Yeah. The secondhand jacket trend.
It's just a trend. I don't know.
I wish I knew. I don't understand TikTok the same way you, but
Yeah.
everyone is doing it
It's
right
a
now.
big trend. Yeah, I guess you're old. That's what you say to them. I guess you're kind of old. You don't get this.
No, you probably don't get this.
Yeah,
You're
that's
old,
a
so you like
little-
to spend. You're
Yeah,
one of those older people.
Yeah, you're on Facebook with your Facebook friends.
Oh, you're
being
on-
old on Facebook.
I
and
got
just
you.
buying
You're a
stuff.
little
Oh, that's cool.
older. Yeah, you've kind of
cool.
reached your twilight years. You don't really understand the TikTok trends of not spending that much on a
That's
jacket.
fine. That's fine. It's fine. Let's go buy you a brand new walker.
So, and obviously, we're not going to spend a lot on the walker. The Washington Post writer says that high school boys who offer girls tampons are studs because there's a lot of talk about the
Legends.
tampon stuff. Because I
Tampon
guess
Tim.
Tim that was his
That was what his policy and
one of his things. He had the Trudeau tampon policy.
Yeah, the tampons in the men's room.
And they go, since tampon trend is since tampon, there's a little tongue twister, Tim is trending, I'll point out that in high school, any boy who casually was like, oh, you got your period, I stashed a pad from the bathroom in my backpack in case one of my friends needed it. That boy would be a king stud, she wrote. That boy would be drowning in prom invites.
Yeah, I fancy myself a bit of a king stud, Ryan. Check the backpack here.
Oh, what do we have?
There you go.
Tampon Dan.
Tampon Dan.
So you always carry one with you at all times?
Of course.
Well, this one that was in your ass, it says poo on it.
It's a Cuban.
That's you walking up to a girl's like, she's bending over, she's like, oh, my stomach's hurting. You go, I got something for you. You're under the table. Here you go. Not creepy at all.
No, not creepy at all. Just
Yeah. I'm always prepared. Hold on, this is one of these. You go, tell me your stomach's hurting.
my stomach's gonna.
Oh, you actually have something in your ear.
How did you know?
So definitely you'd be a hero.
Yeah.
And the girl's just like, thanks. It's kind of that thing. I've been saying this bit on stage, but it's like, because incels girls were always like, leave me alone. And then those incels were like, we'll never talk to you ever. And they were like, those guys need to be in jail.
Yep.
Because what girls want is good looking rich guys to talk to them and bad looking ugly guys to die.
To die, yes. To cease to exist.
To cease to exist. Yeah, they don't want them to die. They just want them. They
Remove
don't.
from the gene pool.
No, it really is. That's like, we don't care where you go. It's just not
around here.
We don't care, where you go. You just can't stay here. So I think if the guy that she was very attracted to, I still think I can't imagine looking back at my high school days, any girl in the world thinking it was normal that I'd have.
If I was in high school and I did that, like I'm getting fucking punched. Like if she had a boyfriend, I'm a dead man.
Hold on, give me the tampon back. I'm gonna do you in high school now. Okay, say that your stomach hurts.
Oh, my stomach hurts.
Well, I actually have a tampon for you. So that's $2.50, and but I can start a credit line if you'd like it. I have more on my back.
If you'd like to open an account, there's more where these came from. $2.50 each, 5 for 10.
Let me just grab that, put that on my ledger here. Danny the accountant.
You think it'll be
But I have two for $4 if you're interested.
how girls do the flowers in there?
Just a bunch of guys walking around.
Bunch of guys, like fucking instead of the shop pencil.
Popping the tampon in the ear.
This is every kid in Minnesota right now, apparently.
And that guy they're all dripping
Drowning in sniz.
They're just drowning in prom
Drowning
invites.
in it. I'm really hoping my wife right now is like, where the fuck are my tampons?
Well, so you could buy one if she needs it. $250. How bad you need it's really the
How
question.
bad you need it?
Well, that's yeah. I'm interested in. Oh my god, I need a tampon. You're like, well, the question is how bad you need it.
What's the blood situation? You have to be walking around all day with your coat wrapped around your waist.
I mean, I'd hate to see you get a stain. That's going to cost a lot more than $250, won't it? Seems to me that you can't afford not to buy.
I don't know what you know about dry cleaning costs at the moment, but they are through the roof. What's not through the roof is my tampons.
Okay, so weirdly enough, the price just went up. So
It's a dynamic pricing.
the demand just went up by one. And the supply appears to have stayed the same. And if anyone knows anything about the economy, market forces.
Market forces. Market forces.
The supply was one and the demand was zero. Now it appears the supply is one. The way I see it, the demand just increased by 100%.
I'm literally like fucking throwing the janitor a 20 to just not stock up the bathrooms with either of
You
them.
gotta- yeah.
I just offload them like fucking the mob, like just the truck. Hijacking the tampon truck. On the
You're
way
just
to
walking down the street with two suitcases.
my locker, you know. I open
Oh,
the
of
locker,
course.
just the fucking tampon.
The guy who sells
all just
soda.
like drawers.
There's always the guy with,
Yeah.
sold the sodas and okay. Boys, we're going to see you over at patreon.com/theboyscast. Every week, a new episode for all the fellas.
Yes, sir. Yes,
where
sir.
the numbers have been increasing know what I looked at, which is cool for us? I looked at the graph of our thing.
Yep.
And it literally,
It's like the S&P 500.
yeah, it's not like it fucking, any enormous bumps, but like our fucking Patreon growth does actually look like the S&P 500. It's just like steady fucking up since
And
the
you know
start
what Warren
to now,
Buffett
which is great.
says? Do not bet against the S&P 500.
Yeah, don't.
That is a losing bet, and it goes the same for the boys.
Warren Buffett's sitting there with his hands full of cash right now.
Yeah, he is.
What do you think of that?
I think he maybe knows something.
Yeah, I mean, he does seem like he does know something because he's sitting cash heavy right now.
250 billy. Just cash, baby. He's going to Vegas.
Yeah, kind of.
Buying it.
Well, he's banking on a big crash is what it sounds
I
like,
guess,
right?
or he just doesn't like the what things cost right now.
Well, you're banking on it going down, obviously.
Yeah. So
BOYSCAST Patreon, patreon.com/theboyscast. Thank you, everybody, and we will see you next week.